Hi, I'm Miss Lisa with the University of Arizona Poetry Center, and I wanted to take a moment to show you my garden and to talk a little bit about gardens and what they do. And then we're going to do some writing involving gardens. So let's show you my garden. So this is an herb and vegetable garden, and I want to show you, this is a herb called sage. And oftentimes this is used for cooking. Some varieties of this are used by different Native American people to cleanse spaces. And it is a very hardy plant. And the word hardy means that it grows well, that it thrives, and it doesn't need a lot of extra support or attention in order to do that. I want to show you over here is an eggplant. And you probably have seen an eggplant before, or you've tasted one. They're those shiny purple, dark purple plants and vegetables. And they're used oftentimes, you might have had them with pasta, or you might have had them on their own with different vegetables. And you can see there's no eggplant growing yet, but there are these beautiful purple flowers, which is kind of cool. I really love these flowers. And then over here, you can see a zinnia, which is this bright, bright yellow flower. And if you were asking yourself whether a zinnia is an herb or a vegetable, it's not. It's just a flowering plant. But the thing that's kind of cool about zinnias is they're what's known as a companion plant. And what that means is, I don't know if you know the word companion. It's sort of like friend or partner. And so these are flowers that help the vegetables grow. And they do that by helping the soil and also by keeping away insects that might eat at the herbs or the vegetables that are growing. And over here, we have two basil plants. Basil is also an herb that you might have tasted in a sauce called pesto. And basil is got kind of like a really nice taste. It tastes good with tomatoes and many, 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 many other things. And speaking of tomatoes, this is my tomato plant. And let's see, do you notice anything about the tomato plant that's different than the other plants? You might have noticed that it has this little string and these sticks around it. Some people use wire cages and some people use sticks and strings like this. But basically, the tomato plant needs a little extra help to grow, a little more support. So you can put the different branches over the string and it helps it grow upwards so that it's easier for it to have fruit. My last little plant I'll show you is growing in its own pot. And this is rosemary, which is another kind of herb. Rosemary tastes really good when you bake it into bread. There's many other reasons why people use rosemary. So the deal with gardens is the more water that they can get, the better. And sometimes in the desert, we don't get a lot of rain, right? So we can either water it with a hose like I'm doing, or we can use what's called gray water from washing machines, or we can do something called rainwater harvesting, where we gather the rain in buckets or we set up an irrigation system. And what that does is it helps us conserve water. Just like we get thirsty, plants get thirsty too, and they need water in order to be able to grow. Thanks for sharing my garden with me. And what we're going to do right now is talk about a different kind of garden. And we're going to go inside to do that. See you in a minute. Okay, now I want us to talk about a different kind of garden. And that garden is the garden of the heart. We don't grow tomatoes in that garden, but we do grow other things. Like, for example, feelings and the things that we believe in. We grow dreams of who we want to be and what we want to do and what we want to give to others. And when we pay attention to the seeds that we plant in that garden, it helps them grow and we get the harvest that we want and we need to feed us. But when we don't plant seeds, our garden is empty. Or when we don't tend to our hearts, things cannot grow there. So let me give you an example of what I want to grow most in my garden. What I most want to grow in my garden is love. Love for myself, love for my friends, love for my family, love for nature, love for my dog, love for strangers, love for animals, love for trees, love for birds, love for everyone. Love is a beautiful plant, and it grows well when I feed it with the memories of the people that I care about, when I feed it with gratitude for all the beautiful things that I have in my life, when I remember the things that I like about myself, my love for myself grows. But sometimes fear can cover love like a weed. It can make me feel like I have to cover up and armor myself. But there's a good thing about that is that I can go in and I can pull back those weeds. I can pull back the weeds of fear so that love can grow. Or another example is that I like to have a little bit of anger in my garden because sometimes anger is really important for a recipe. Anger shows us what our boundaries are. It shows me where I have been hurt or where I think things should be different, either in my life or in my community and in my country. But if I plant anger too close to my love plant, it can overtake it. So I want to put anger in its own pot where it can still be a part of my garden without taking over everything else. So, are you ready to write? I'm really excited. So, what we're going to do first is we are going to do the first step in this activity, which is called, what do you want to grow in your garden? And it's your garden is the thing. It's not mine. It's not anybody else's. And that means that you get to choose what you want to plant. You get to choose what you want to nourish and water. You get to choose what you want to pull out of there. All of the choices about what you want to grow in the garden of your heart are yours and yours alone. So, what I want us to do first is think about all the things that you most want to grow, and you're just going to make a list. So, what are some things that you want to grow? Do you also want to grow love like me? Do you want to grow joy? Do you want to grow play? Do you want to grow light, happiness, family? Think of all of the things that you would like to grow in the garden of your heart. And I'm going to give you a few minutes and you can pause the video and then we'll come back, okay? Awesome. Do you have your list? It's so exciting. I'm so excited. So now we're going to make a second list, okay? Yeah, you ready? So the second list is, what are some things that you don't want to grow in your garden? So could that be misunderstanding or hatred or feeling isolated or rude when people are rude, or like rudeness, or fear, right? There's so many things like, and maybe those aren't your things. So what are some things though that you know that you don't want to grow in the garden of your heart? What do you not want to grow there? And then you can write those down in a separate list. So write those down and then we will be right back. I'll give you some more instructions. Do you have your second list? Awesome. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. we're going to take all of those ideas and all of those words that you just came up with about what you want to grow in the garden of your heart and what you don't want to grow in the garden of your heart. And we're going to use that to imagine the garden of your heart through writing your own poem. So you're going to write a poem about what you will grow in your garden and what you will pull back and what your garden is going to look like. And you can write your own poem with all of your own words, or I'm going to give you some ideas about about ways to get started. So in a moment, I'm going to give you that example, and you can use that example, or if you don't want to use that example, that's okay too. And you'll press pause again on the video and just get to writing. And, take your time, write down your ideas for your garden. And then when you're done, you can press play again. Congratulations! You wrote your poem about the garden of your heart and what you want to grow. And I'm so proud of you, and I'm so grateful for you taking the time to do this. And I want you to remember that with each season and every day, you get to make choices about what you want to grow in the garden of your heart. And what I like to do when I write poems, is read them aloud to myself to remind myself of what it is that I think and feel and what's important to me. Or you might decide to read it aloud to a friend or a family member, a grown-up in your life. Because sometimes when we say the words aloud, there's like another layer of understanding what it is that we want and what we need and what we feel. And I also want to remind you that if you want to, and you can ask a grown-up to help you with this, the Poetry Center, the University of Arizona Poetry Center, is working with Pima County Public Library and Arizona Public Media, and they have a contest. And you can submit your poem to the contest. And it goes through July 16th. So I will include that information of where you can go to have a grown-up help you submit your poem. But it's a wonderful opportunity to share your feelings with the world and to share what is important to you with others. And I want to thank you so much for all of your thoughts and feelings and language and ideas and imagination. And I want to remind you that you always have those. They're always inside you. And so anytime you want to, you can write those down and you can share them, or you can decide which ones you want to keep for yourself. And all of those things help for us to grow. Thank you so much. And I'm wishing your heart garden so much love and care from my heart garden. Bye.